We will continue today with the lecture of human rights about family, marriage, and also children. Three things quite related, quite connected. So the learning objectives of today first is to see what is a family. We will see some history about one battle related more or less to the children, to the notion of belonging. And then we will be focusing what is marriage, and finally some ideas, two ideas, as always the last topic is just an introduction of the children's right. You have in any case a little more to read about children's right. So let's focus in family. And today we will see one big war, 100 years war. So, but for understand the 100 years war, it's very good to see and to remember principally how was developed the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, for sure you will remember, that began in Italy, in Rome, in La Lazio, and then little by little these people conquered a lot of Europe, also part of Africa, in the north of Africa, and also Jerusalem, Israel. That is the biggest part of the Roman Empire. That was split in two, as you can see, two colors there, no? And the west side falls, and after that, several centuries after that, later, the other part, Constantinople, also falls. So here is the whole empire and the whole of Western Roman Empire. It began more or less in the year 376, when the Goths, another non-Roman people, invaded. And well, they were fleeing from the Huns and entered in the empire and destroyed everything and took control of all things there. 1 century later, it was very hard to maintain the borders of the empire. Well, in the year 476, the German barbarian King Odoacer deposed the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire in Italy. You can see there that disappeared that year, no? And the other part was Constantinople. Constantinople was at the time the second Rome, the second capital of the world, the first city in the world. But little by little, with the attacks of the Turks, many people also, it falls also, no? So the fall of Constantinople was in 1453, when it was captured by the Ottoman Turks Empire. Well, this is part of the history. And why is so important to realize how was Europe at that time, for understand the battle of the 100 years with the war? It's because you can see here in France how it was France. Well, was a lot of little kingdoms, cities. For sure, you remember the last lecture when we talk about, well, the Holy Roman Empire, no? That was also more or less like that. Well, also here the same, no? You can see here, for example, how many little points of power there were. This is at the end of the 15th century, but it's incredible, no? Lordships, viscounts, counties, duchies, kingdoms, imperial free cities, and so many things, no? But it's marquisates, you can see it there also, no? I think that you are more or less able to see the map, no? Duchy of Alessandro, for example, no? Or the county of Nemours, or La Loire. Well, it's incredible. And what's it so important? Because remember, at the very beginning, it was an empire, part of one big thing, no? But then, well, the sense of unity, they lost that sense. And little by little, well, in whole Europe, also in the Roman Empire, were increasing the powers on lords, because they give protections. Remember, there were a lot of attacks, invasions of the gods, of the many peoples around from the north and from the south also. So they didn't have peace. They didn't have the security to live, no, without attacks. All those people suffered a lot of war. A very sad story, no. And that's why it was the beginning of the beginning. The cities used to be built in this way. No, you can see the wall of the city in the cliff, with a lot of protection. In this case, the ocean and the river and many things. Why? Because we have to protect our people. There are many people outside that are coming to invade us, no? And this is another example of another city. Now, the wall in the cliff, in the middle of the valley, to see when they are approaching to you, and to save and to protect better the people of the city. No, here is another. It is in ground, no, and that's why they used to put all the cities in the river, also to protect better the attacked, no. Well, and more or less that is the reason, no? And it's quite interesting because remember, there are a lot of war with the neighbors, more or less good or bad neighbors. So that was the beginning of an era and a vision of how to protect to who I belong. For example, this was the time of the vassals. The vassals. I don't know if you have heard about the vassals, no? Well, the kings, the knights, the lords, no, the knights, and especially the vassals, were people that used to swear loyalty to one king or to one guy with great power. Why? And this is interesting, no? Because he realized that alone cannot protect his family, because there were many people coming from outside invading the territories, no? And he said, well, I will give you my word, and I will be with you. If we have to fight, we will fight together, and we will protect our families, our kingdom, and everything. So I will give you many things, and you will give me protection. The Lord used to give protection. The Lord will be the king, the principal prince, bishops, even and the others will have security. We have security. It's an agreement between two parties, no? There is also the problem of the land, And this is the fiefdom, as you know, the kind of the fiefdom. Here you can see also another city, no? You can see very well that is an antique painting. Here, the city with the wall, just one door you can see there, no? Because we have to protect our people from the people that are invading our lands, no? And it's very good to see here this guy with the keys of the city, no? So if you became a vassal at that time, you have the right to be in the city also at time of invasion, and to get out and to get in, and also, well, but you have to protect your people and the marquisate or the kingdom or the fiefdom. I don't know, whatever you want. That is an incredible time, People used to swear loyalty to one person, no? And that's why at that time, well, there was a lot of games like that, justice, well, to see, well, who have more power, and the knights used to not to sign precisely, but to follow little by little a code, an ethic code, no? That it says you have to be loyal, you have to train yourself to be prepared for attack. You have to have so many question. Yeah, Justin. And and also you have to be loyal to your king, to your family, to your love, and your religion. Remember, the whole Europe at the time were Christians, you know? And that's why they support the Crusades. No, also the people, all the kings of the at that time of Europe, even of the UK, decided, well, to recover Holy Land. It was not possible, but was a sense of loyalty, no, to our to the religion that they belong to. So this is incredible time. This is the time of so many novels, no, about love, about loyalty to the wife or the girlfriend or whatever you want, no? So it's incredible. That's part of the code of the good knight of that time, no? It's incredible, no? And well, you can find many novels at that time were written, a lot of them with this sense, no? What is to be a knight, no? Paladin, to fight for the good things, for the truth, for your religion, your family, your land. You have to protect the things that you have, no? Important things. That was the time also of this novel. I don't know if you have read this novel, no? The King Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table, no? For sure you will remember. Recently was a movie about Merlin that is there in your screen. No, it's incredible. It's incredible because, well, you can read in that novel with the sense of loyalty, of belonging to one kingdom, the myth that were there, the myth of Merlin. The people used to say that they wrote so many prophecies and things. Well, in any case, it's interesting because it explains more or less what happened with France until today. No, and well, the things began in the 100 years war. But the way was not 100, but the name is 100 years war. With the kingdom of England. Why with the kingdom of England? because in 1337, Edward III, King of England, decides to press his claim to French throne. Why? Because it was based his claim on his being the son of Isabella of France, and thus of the contested French royal line. So he said, well, I have the right to be king of this. And he invaded first in the south. You can divide in three parts the battle. No? First in the south, the approach was a little success, but then they lost the British, and they attacked in the north, and there was a lot of things that we will see. Well, after his kingdom, the follower, King Henry IV, we will see Henry IV, 5, 6 of England. Well, decide, well, we have to claim the same thing. We have the right to be the king of France, But he died, passed away, and he cannot invade someone. And well, as you know. And then, well, what happened with the following one? This King Henry V decided to attack again. Then in the north, that one had a lot of success. Allies, Normandy, you can see there. It is interesting because what happened when one big king with a lot of power attacked your country? Your country, probably any country can have many conflicts, problems, issues between the people, the cities, or the tribes, you know. But when there is a big risk, a big enemy of outside, all people used to be together to fight and to protect the country, you know, more or less. And more or less it happened in France, no? There were a lot of kingdoms, little people with little powers. With this invasion of the north, they decided, well, let's try to be together, and the sense of belonging to France began to develop little by little with a lot of effort. So this is quite famous battle. This is just one battle. It's not the most important one, but it's famous. You will see why. No, it's the Battle of Agincourt in 1415. What happened? That the British said that, well, there was a time of the archers, you know, no? If you surrender, and that it was a statement of the code of the knights, you surrender, we will treat you very well, and we will not punish you to the city. But if you don't, well, we will take measures. What kind of measures? Every archer, we will put 2 fingers, the index fingers and the second one. so we will cut. Some people say that it is a myth, or others say not. Obviously, the England, in England, they say, well, could be true. In any case, the British used to show the 2 fingers to the French people today. Remember that battle, no? We win, no? And it was the meaning of the sign that you used to do as victory, no? Well, in any case, this king passed away, and then who will come? It's easy. Henry VI. We have seen Henry IV and Henry V, Henry VI of that name. he was king of England 2 times, more or less. And on the other hand, there was this guy in France, Charles VII, well, more or less. The very beginning, in the very beginning, he was nobody. But he tried to be the king of France, yeah. With one specific battle, especially, and then another, he will gain a lot of success, and he will be the king of France. What happened? What happened? Well, as you can see in the north, the England was invading. Let's see, wait, with a lot of success. And he began, as you can see, in Normandy, in Calais, and this was the third part of after the invasion of the south. And after that, they was stopped just by the river. You can see here, no, by the river, and they tried to take Orleans. But Orleans was so difficult because the river was there, no, and it's a natural barrier for attack with the armies and with the things, no. So it was almost done, the war for England to attack here and to pass from the river. And well, and I will explain what happened in Orleans, but more or less you can see here for the day of the beginning of the 100 years war was in May 1337, at the end 1453. So how many years have the has the 100 years battle? 116, more than 100. No? And well, you can see here, and also well the belligerent, also two houses, France and Valois, and the other the Plantagenet, well, and the command leaders, and Charles 5, 6, 7 also, and on the other hand Henry 6, 5, 7, and so on. So, but let's go now once again. How was the map in the big battle of Orleans? Was like that. You can see here that was the river La Loire, the natural barrier, as you can see. No? Now it's a little, well, there are some difference, but England was absolutely well taking all this part, as you can see, no, and just they had to go and to win in Orleans, then they will take all France. Seems to be deemed. And this is the city of Orleans at that time. Yeah, a graphic of that time. And you can see is a city with a wall, the river, the very border of the river, and just one bridge here. And in the middle, there's like two bridges, no? This part and this part. So you have 3 doors to enter in the city, no? There's one here in the other part, in an island, a little island, then here, no? More or less you can see. So it was so difficult to get in that city, no? And well, and what happened? That in Orleans, you can see here the island in the middle, and the people here, and then well, so there was a lot of things in Orleans because at the very beginning we were not expected well to war so quickly, and they have not so many things, but well, they decide we have to defend Orleans. Well, technically, the siege of Orleans formally began in 12 October 1428 and initiated with the artillery bombardment in several days. And the English assaulted the boulevard in October 21, but they received the French missiles fires, rope nets, scalding oil, hot coals, and quilling. So many things, and they decided to stop because they were losing people. So seems to be that the people of Orleans just was refugees in Orleans, but the English just wait outside, as you can see there, and try to stop any provisions, because they need some provisions to survive, no food, also weapons, no, to survive. There were many people. Well, there was a winter. A Burundian force numbering about 1,500 men arrived to support the English besiegers then, so it was so difficult with the blockade. Seems to be that Orleans will fall in soon, because Orleans was not able to receive provision. The French people at the very beginning used to send some of them, but all of them were attacked by the British. More or less, just 100% arrived to Orleans. They decided, well, we cannot support more this city. And then what happened? That one teenager woman, a woman teenager appears. That is Joan d'Arc. So, who was her? Well, that changed the history of France, of England, and of Europe, and of many countries around the world also. So, he was a teenager, I mentioned, that at one point of her life, she had a vision. He used to discover the names of the people. It was a kind of power. She realized that three people were Saint Michael Archangel, Saint Catherine of Alexandria, and Saint Margaret of Antioch. The two last one were also teenagers. Centuries ago, they offered her life for the church and for the country also. Saint Michael the Archangel is the archangel, the principal angel, according to the Catholic faith and also Christianity. So that commands the troops of heaven, of the angels. So the archangels told her that she will command the troops of France. She will command the troops of France, but she had to go to visit the king and to realize and to ask, well, to support the troops. So she went at the very beginning. Nobody believes in her, but after some prophecies that happened, they realized, well, we have to support her. She discovered who was the king. Suddenly in a meeting, unexpectedly, and the king, not at that time, was not the king, Charles VII. She told, you will be the king of France, and I will be there. gave that prophecy to the king. So she was in many villages and many towns, asking to people, well, to support her, and went to Orleans with a lot of people. She commanded more or less, and was incredible because they won. They won in Orleans that battle. So and here you can find, well, after the battle, with all the signs of victory, the flag of France, no? And after that, well, the people realized that was according to the mentality of the people, was a gift of heaven. This teenager woman wearing the clothes of a king, a knight, and incredible. And as she prophesied, she was in the crowning of the King of France, Charles VII. No? You can see here the King Charles VII, and here Joan d'Arc with the sword. Well, that is also a sword with a lot of story. You can check in internet what was the story of the sword, but it's interesting, no? And the end was not so good because in one battle she suffered because people the British took her, and the King of France didn't help so much that girl. She was in prison after that, tried by the, well, at that time, some bishops of England that accused her. Obviously, it was not so clear, not so just that trial, but accused her because heresy, no, because she was wearing the clothes of a man. She said that she has had visions and many things that. So at the end, after the trials, they condemned her to be at the stake, and they burned three times her body. Why? Because they realized that people believed that she was a saint, and he will take the part of the body as a relics. But that's why they decided we will burn the body three times, and the ashes we will put in the river, and nobody will remember her. The incredible thing is that all people used to remember her today. Because many things. Well, she was a symbol of the troops for France till today. Incredible, no? You have many monuments in France today, and also I think that was in the 20s of the last century, was canonized. Now she is a saint in the Catholic Church. Not because the battles, not because the visions, but because the piety. She was a very pious girl, not so much education. Was a peasant in a very not unknown town, but her family was very Christian, with a deep sense of well, we have to support the every project of Christ. Well, that was incredible, no? So now she is a symbol for the and all France. Well, with these symbols, well, the symbol of France, the king, our heroes, develop a great sense of belonging to someone, to some country, to some also leaders, to some king, to some kingdom. So it's quite interesting. And here, the first set of questions. The first set of questions is about who do we belong to? That is the question. To our country, to our office, to our family, to our tribe. And in which order we can ask? In which order? What do you think? Yes, Rosalind.
I'd say the family, because we get the identity from the family first.
Very good. First, the family. First should be in the first place, and then, or not, or just the family.
Then the tribe.
Then the tribe. That is important. This is a sense that we had time ago in the west part of the world. Now we don't have. And then, because why the tribe? Why the tribe? That is interesting.
I think the tribe is the community of families.
Yeah. Had to be with our family, the people that we belong to. Okay, and then to the office.
Yes, I would say then to the office, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't know. In some sense, for some specific thing, yes, but probably to our country, because we can work today here and tomorrow there, and then not work at all. Yeah, there is not a big sense of, but instead of that, you'll be a Kenyan citizen for all your life. Probably nothing really bad happened. But it is, no? This is, in some sense, we pertain also to a political system, but the political system is in another level. First to our family, and then to the more close family, and then to the tribe, and so on. That is important. This is very nuclear to our lives, and this is important to know. So, but well, here once again, we have to ask now: is there any right to belong to them? Seems to be that probably more than a right, that is also a right, is a fact many times now. I was born in one family, and I belong to that family. But not the same with the country. Many times, there were people that have to escape from one country because persecutions. The authorities take up all the rights to pertain to one country. In many treaties now you can find that you have the right to one nationality, to one place. It's not so clear. Many times it's the place where you born, but also could be related with jus sanguinis, with the where is your family. So we can see you will have to read a new part of the code, a new section of the code that is about family, and is a synthesis of many treaties and many things also. No? So every human being, I think that you will accept this easily, has the right to be born in first, no? To be born in, to develop in, and to belong to a natural constituted family. Well, that is, in a family. Probably in the best possible family. Yeah, many times it is not possible. An impossibilia non contenetur, no? To the impossible, no one is obliged. Obliged. You don't have to do impossible things, no? But as much as we can, we will try to give to every human, every individual, a good family. Furthermore, every human being free from a previous bond has the right to form a family by signing the marriage pact. We will see this later, that is also in some treaties. So obviously, if there is some bond that hinder you to have another marriage, well, there will be no difficulty. We will see all these kind of things and all this stuff here. So my question here is, what is a family? Seems to be so easy. I don't know, what do you think about what is a family? Yes, Abdirahman.
Yeah, the way we're taught to think about it I think it was in social and political philosophy, was a family is a community of friendship. And it's like the first community of friendship.
Yeah, but if I say, you are my friend, you are my family or not?
I think it depends on the connection, like how deep the friendship is, probably.
I think that friendship is one thing. What different is a family? In this sense, any group of people that I think that are good for me and is part of my family. Yes, Joy.
I think a family is a product of marriage, which constitutes of parents or a parent and their children living together as a unit.
Yeah, a product of marriage. Yeah, that is a position. Yeah, but I don't know. If you live, Tasneem, yes.
I would also say that a family is a basic unit of society within which a person first engages in learning about the world.
Yeah, well, this is another vision. Yeah, you can see in practically whole human rights treaties that talk about that topic, that is a fundamental nucleus of the family. There are many names they used to say. A basic unit of the society, also, as Tasnim said. But what it means is not so clear at all. The basic unit of a society could be anything. Yeah, and in fact, many people used to put a flatmate is a family. You are going to study, for example, to another country, and then you rent an apartment, a flat, and then well, you have another 2 flatmates. That is your family or not? Seems to be. What do you think? And why yes or why not? That yes, Rosalind.
It's not your family because that relationship could easily end as soon as you're done with the study, for example.
Yeah, I agree with that. There is many cases in the human rights court, and they decide, no, this is not a family. They say that another things could be a family, this not. But I will be deeper in the notion of family, but should be related with the procreation, with or origin. That is important, no? Where we came from. This is probably there could be broad sense of family, no? To many people, we can say, you are my brother, because you are a good friend of mine. But this is not the first sense of the notion of family. Well, you are my brother because you are so similar to my brother, probably, no? It's a second sense. It's not the first sense. The first sense should be is related to the blood. Where my mother, that is clear that is my family, my mother, my parents. No, it's not so clear if my foes are that I call my brother is part of my family. Probably, well, it is theology. Well, I have some ties, family ties, because I'm born in the face with some guy. Well, there could be another sense of family, even could be in the spiritual way deeper. But this is not the first notion that we have of family. The first notion that we have should be related with where I born, in which community. That community will be my family. My grandparent will be also my grandfather. My great grandparent will also will be family of myself, of mine. Why? Because it is in the line of what is my family, and the people related to them are part of my family. My tribe, why my tribe is part of my family? Well, precisely because that, no? We can accept another people from outside by adoption, for example, but it will be treated as a family, but not in the first sense of the family. If we don't have the first sense, we don't have any kind of family. Yeah, that is interesting. Let's see one thing. Let's be deeper in the questions. So this set of giraffes are a family or not? Seems to be that yes, because it had to be with the line of generation. I will ask, here is more difficult. This set of trees. What do you think? It is a family or not? Yes or no? Yes, Tasnim.
So if we define family as that first set in terms of biology, then I think we also need to add some more definitions to it, which would be that you have the biology, but you also have the friendship and love. Friendship in the sense of intense caring about someone else and wanting the best for them, and love being a very similar notion. And so if we look at it in those three facets, then no, it's not a family. But if we just look at it in terms of the biological criteria, then to some extent you can say yes.
Well, you can see here. Let me wait a minute that I'm losing power. Yeah, seems to be that now it's okay. Okay. Well, in some little sense, probably it is not usually called family because there is not, well, obviously there is a origin religion, but there is not more than that probably, no? Joy, do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say that even from a biological perspective, I think that a family is where someone derives their identity from. But with trees, a tree will still be a tree even if it grows without, a set of other trees. So I think if it's about drawing identity, I don't think this would constitute a family in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these birds, are a family. Birds are very incredible because they have a lot of customs between them. They support all each other. That is interesting, no? And the elephant, they have a family. Elephants also will remember so many things, no? Each part of well, it's incredible the memory of the elephant, as you know. Well, but on the other hand, if we put friendship, what happened with the children that have problem with their parents and even battles and even they hate them and the parents hate them. They are family or not. If family is just a friendship, well, when the friendship ends, there will be no family, and it doesn't happen. No, also with the people of our tribe, it's my people, even if I don't like them, but it's my people. Yeah, it's more than friendship. This is more than friendship. It's not based on friendship because it is. If it is just friendship, when the friendship ends, the family ends. And seems to be that your mother will be your mother for your life, not in the good time. Yeah. So I don't know if you follow the idea and the problem with friendship, defining just with friendship. Well, let's continue. Someone say another interesting thing. Do you think, see these animals, it's incredible, very beautiful animals around the world. Is this a family and why? There is something specific here in these pictures. I don't know if you are able to discover something that is different in the plant, in the trees. No one of you. Too hard. Yeah, Ruth, try.
Oh, okay. I think the difference that I can see from the plants is a form of dependency. Like we can see the baby pigs depending on the mother for food. Yeah. And so we
Exactly.
can see, yeah,
Exactly.
some form of dependency.
Yeah. Very good. Abdirahman, yes.
No, I wanted to also say dependence. Yeah.
Yeah, dependency. It's incredible. It's important to realize that we are mammals. We are mammals, and mammals have usually, not all of them, but strong ties of family. And we are the weakest mammal. Even that, we are the weakest mammal. And this creates a strong sense of family, probably in the whole species of the world. The strong sense of family is in the human being. Why? Because you can see these cheetahs. Well, in the very beginning, they cannot kill, but after 1 year, they will be able to kill and to survive easily. We cannot survive easily. We need our family. Some philosophers say that our family is a second womb. A second womb. We develop ourselves first in the womb of our mother, and then in the womb of our parents or family, because without our family we cannot survive. There is not possibility of one Tarzan. Yeah, so we need our family to survive, to develop our abilities, our skills, our intelligence too, our culture, and then we will be able to. So the family have to do with this, with the independency. It's not, yeah, probably could be related with friendship. A good family you will have friendship, but you will have also battles, and you will have time of your life that there will be, seems to be that there is not friendship. But at the end of the day, even in the worst case, I say, well, a very big battle between parents and child, at the end of the life, they realize, well, there could be my parents, many times the husband, no? The father, is, well, not a good life, destroying many sacred things. But at the end of the day, when he's in his agony, they say that, okay, I will forgive that, but he's my father. I will help him, and this is good because we receive, even in the worst family, we receive all the things that we have from our parents. We have all the things, all the things. It's good to appreciate that, even if we have problems in our family. This is important. It's more than friendship. And here you can see that there is a, if you want to put roles in the animals, okay, that is in the human being should be a duty to feed, to feed. If you give birth to one child, you have some duties, no, and to help him to be able to survive in the society. And the first is just feed your child. Yeah, it's, if you want, if you're afraid of your child or not, but it's your duty. Yeah. And well, and it's probably a cheerful, lovely duty for the parents. And normally they used to do everything for their children. Normally, sometimes not. We are humans. We have well, good things and bad things. Every of us, every sort. And well, and family try to improve as much as we can the skills of each member. So why it matters to the law? Why it matters to the law? I said you why it matters. No, but well, we agree, and all the human species depends on the family. That's right, because the mission of the family is to support and to give all the skills, all the abilities, and to improve as much as we can the good things of each individual. Well, all the future of the humankind depends on the family, That's why you can see in the human rights treaties this kind of affirmations. No, this is the classical one, the Universal Declaration, Article 12. No one shall be subject to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home. So the first, no, the right to privacy is related to family, especially to family life. Second, men and women, and this is interesting, at full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and to found a family. It's quite interesting. I think that Joy told us, no, family is founded in the marriage or something like that. I don't remember very well. But at least there is a line in the Universal Declaration related to that. And finally, the family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society. Tasneem said that, and is entitled to protection by society and the state. The fundamental group unit, what it means, well, probably many things, and it's important to have at least. This is not properly a definition. No, this is just points out a characteristic of a family, but this is not a definition. It's two characters. It's natural. It's natural. You can show also the notion of family in nature, no? In the animals, as we see. We can see there is a strong sense in some animals, especially in mammals, but a not so strong sense in other species, for example, trees. Yeah. Well, we said that. Why? Why? Because it's just not a matter of I was my mother was this. No, it's just also the functions. Is a community with a lot of functions of that, and duties and also rights, and is entitled to the protection of the states. Okay, so let's see another definition and to compare both. This is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society. Exactly the same phrase. I don't know if you realize, no? Both in blue. And is entitled to protection by society and the state. But society and the state. This is interesting. Well, is entitled to have the right to the protection. It means so many things. Probably you will have to read at least one part of this, how it could be protected. The right of men and women to marriage age, to marry and found family shall be recognized. Once again, shall be recognized this right. And finally, they talk about responsibilities and the children. And this is important. I think that this is going to the aim of the family. The aim of the family, no? To support the members, to help the members, to improve the skills and to reduce their vices, their problems. We have all these kind of things, no? So there is some duties of the family, some mission in the environment and in the human being. Also, we are another species, but in our species means not just a thing, but also a mission, and rights and duties. So, because with our liberty, with our freedom, we cannot follow the things that usually in the families of the environment we find. Let's see. Well, one question. Do you think that is a qualified or a limited right? The right to family, the right to private life in family? Limited is you can limit something. Qualified is the state can intervene to regulate some specific areas. Yes, Joy.
I think it's a qualified right because normally we see a lot of state intervention in trying to make the conditions of the family good so that the individuals can develop in a good way. Yeah.
Okay, Natalie, yes.
I also wanted to say it's a qualified right because you can see some states have different rules for what constitutes a family, which differs from other states.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to say, add more, Duta or Ruth. Okay. No. Okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's qualified because the state can intervene to regulate, for example, how to marry for the people that, especially that don't have any faith, or as to marry by the state, or many things, no? The properties, to protect the properties of the state, but cannot limit some specific areas for example, to who the people will marry, as the French Revolution did. You remember, no? They say, well, you none have to marry to this monk. Incredible, incredible, in the name of freedom. So well, now we realize that the state have no power, no competence to do these kind of things. Well, okay. So you're right. There are case law on human rights that say that. And let's see the African Charter. I was marveled. Normally, there is an article in each proclamation that mention rights to marriage, and then and related to family. Some of them mixed all these kind of things, and some of them they split into the European Convention. But in the African Charter, you have just one about family, and it's not so clear what happened with marriage. Yeah, probably, well, you know, probably why. Well, in any case, the family shall be the natural unit and basis of society. Other words, but the same idea, more or less, no? I don't know if you agree that this is more or less the same idea, no? It's not fundamental, it's basis and of society. Okay, it shall be protected by the state. This is an addition here, no? The state shall have the duty to assist the family, which is the custodians of morals and traditional values, recognized by the community. This is a good addition, I think so, because that is the meaning, the deep meaning of family. It's not just your friends. No, it's the community that gives you the whole skill, the whole opportunity, the fit to survive, not just to survive your body, but also your soul, also your position in the society, which will be, well, let me see. Okay, I was receiving a message, sorry. Okay. Yes, it is a qualified right, answering that question. But this means a lot, no? The mission is to give also the culture, also the religion, also the many things. The family have an incredible mission to develop each human being. Well, it says nothing about marriage, but yes, about discrimination against women. Well, it's interesting. Well, it's a good thing to develop. I saw news that in Samburu there is a community of women that don't allow men to be there to protect themselves from, well, the punishment problem that could be in some families. No, I don't know if you have seen the commentary or the story. Have you heard? But it's incredible, no? Because, well, many times, also in my country, I don't. This kind of thing happen in many places around the world still today. Also in the States, this less, sorry, but well, and we have to fight against these kind of things. No, I think so. Is my opinion. As everything here is just my opinion. Always you can have your. I'm giving your ideas, but you have to develop to read whatever you want to develop your opinions. So let's go again with the question. So let's see. Who are the members of the family? That is important. We have now just a notion, the notion of the human rights treaties, also not so deep, but two deep characteristic, yes. Who are the members of our family? So the first thing that I want to ask you here if this guy is part of the family. What do you think? Who are the members of our family? It seems to be so easy, that question. Yes, Rosalind. Do you want to say something? Ruth?
Yes, I think members of the family are persons who are related by virtue of blood ties. So the example that you were giving here, that will just be a companion to the family.
Yeah. Georgina, yes. Georgina.
I wanted to say the same thing that Truth has said. People who are related by birth or by marriage. So a dog is,
Yeah, we can say many times, well, it's part of our family, but we understand that it's not the same. Probably we like very much and we love the dog, but there could be a two sense, no? More metaphorical sense with people that are not of part of our blood, yeah? It's more metaphorical. You are my foe, you're my brother. Another not so metaphorical, but it is, no? You can see know very well, no? In the left, the people with the blood, no? Blood, all of them, no? Great grandparents in line, no? Is related with your ADN. The left, all of them, you can see the same, and you will discover yourself in the blood of this line. Yeah, you will discover that they have the same DNA, and they probably, the close family, will have also for example, the same kind of nose, or high, more or less, more your close family, or many things, no, many things. And on the other hand, we have the relation with the spouse. There is another kind of family, the relation, but the relation with the spouse is also by blood. It's a mix in the children. It's a mix of DNAs. It's a mix of DNAs. Yeah, in the sexual intercourse, you have a mix of blood, no? Of DNA that is able to create a person, a human being. This is not just my friend. It's more than that, and that's why it creates another relation with the family-in-law, grandparents-in-law, parents-in-law, siblings, cousins, nibblings, grandnibblings, great-grandnibblings in law, also, because it's related also with the blood. It's incredible. So this is the typical sense in whole cultures, in the history. I mean, in the last, I don't know, 100,000 years. No, it's not a new idea that I am giving to you. So we can see, and this is important, some characteristics of the family ties. Can you say me one? Which are the characteristics of the family relationships? I know that it's not so easy, but in any case, I will give you an opportunity to discover at least one of the 7 characteristics. Well, okay. Ruth, go ahead. I know that it is difficult.
I'd say kinship bond.
Kinship bond. Well,
Yeah.
kinship bond. Which is the characteristic of the kinship bond? Rosalind, yes.
I wanted to say perpetual. It doesn't end.
Perpetual, doesn't end. Whoa, very good, very good. Yeah, well, yeah. Your parents will be forever, if are friend or not, but be with forever. Also, your great grandparent will be forever, and your great grandchildren or grandnibbling or peebling or whatever you want will be forever. Yeah. Consider that. Well, we will see the characteristics first. Interpersonal nature is what it should be between two persons, not with the dog. Yeah. Why not with the dog? Because not any kind of friendship could be. Not even, sorry, because that there are people that do practice of bestiality, and it don't create a family with the dog. Why? Well, because he's not a person. So the relationship only occurs between people. Second, intrapersonal nature. The relation affects the most intimate of the person and determines his identity. It determines who we belong to. We are part of this family. We are part of this tribe. This is so important. Intermittent, complementary, and systematic nature. All family relations are based and justified on each other. You can see when here this couple, a children born, well, the parents of yourself will be grandparent, is interdependent, and your other children will be brother or sister, siblings of that new children. And all things change. There will be an uncle, and there will be grandchildren that is related with a relation of a nephew, and so on. All are systematic, no? Just one new person, and all the relation between the whole family change between all of them, instantly when a new person appears. Because all order are interdependent, complementary, and systematic. Irreducible nature. It is not allowed the impersonation of a nuclear family relationship with another nuclear family. That's why you cannot marry your children or your grandparents or your mother, no? The incest. No? That is the reason that you cannot destroy your family, because that is for life. You cannot destroy your family. That is why incest is so bad. No? You are destroying your family. You're replacing your relations. It's a long, lifelong, and indelible nature. This is important, no? Which is the first family relationship? The first one. What do you think? Which is the first one? Family relationship. Yes, Joy.
Okay, I think the first bond is the bond between like spouses. So,
but for the bond is necessary one thing. The bond
okay, then I'm not sure.
Is for people born. Yeah, Rosalind, yes.
Marriage.
Marriage, yes. Without marriage, you don't have the conception of any child. Yeah, if we will see. You can say, well, you need this to understand. I will explain a little more, but yes, parents and children, and specifically marriage, is the common relationship, the first family relationship. And it's incredible because you can never speak about your ex-grandparent or your ex-parent or your ex-brother. It is for life. And now people speak my ex-wife, my ex-husband. Well, what happened there? Well, you can have your consequences. Biographical character, no? When you born, anyone who will write your biography will say that guy born from this parent in this place, and this part of your biography. And communal character. The related person becomes parts of a communion of life, and a personal love communion is destined to be perfected throughout the sincere seek for the good of the other. Well, there is a mission. There are people that fulfills well the mission, and others that not. And there will be a lot of problems because the family problems are the worst one, more than the economic problems. Natalie, do you want to say something? I saw raised your hand.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could just please repeat point 4, your explanation for point 4, because I don't understand it.
Yeah, as long as it is lifelong, if you marry your parents, one of your parents, what will happen? That you will replace a nuclear family relationship. Yeah, and this is not, it seems to be not just, unfair. Yeah, because you are destroying, you're replacing your relation, parents, children, with marriage, and it means to destroy the first relation, and that's why the incest is not allowed anywhere. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so with this we finish the chapter of family. I think that is quite interesting to think about why we believe this kind of thing. Now the television will show you many kind of things that seems to be family, friendship, but family is more deeper. It have to be with who we belong to, you know? And it's important. I will give you now the break, and after the break we can continue with the, let's resume recording, and we will continue now with the second part of the lecture that is related to marriage. So my first question here is an easy one, I hope so, for you. 2 questions about these animals. Do you know the name of these animals? How many? For sure you will remember at least one, the owls. How many? Do you know the name of the, how many are here? 13 animals. Tasnim, yes.
So I see penguins, octopus. I think I don't know the name of the fish, but and there's seahorses,
Yeah.
beavers,
Beavers.
orangutans. I'm not sure if they're orangutans or monkeys. There's a huskies, I believe, or foxes.
Foxes, yes.
Eagle, swan.
Eagle. Which kind of eagle?
Owl.
Bald
Bald eagle? No.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And then I don't know that other type of bird. I don't know the exact name.
Very good.
Yeah.
So don't worry, because I will show you the names of the of them. Second question: which thing all these species have in common? Which characteristic, which feature all of them have in common? Rosalind.
They're coupled. Like that too.
They are two. Well, and there are another characteristics. The octopus seems to be not. No. Philip.
They are exclusive to planet Earth, and they also are, some of them are found in Africa. So they are exclusive to planet Earth, and they breathe oxygen.
Well, okay. Another. That is so difficult, I know. Georgina,
I'm just trying. Is it that they can reproduce? I don't know.
yeah,
But all animals can
all
reproduce,
of them, they
but
can reproduce. All of them are mammals. And Abdirahman, yes.
Most of them are engaged in like monogamous relationships.
Exactly. All of them are engaged. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So let's continue. Yeah. All of them, as you can see, in the sea, in the rivers, in the so many places, there are monogamous species. It is not just the human being or part of the human being. All of them. No? So it's interesting. Think about that, no? What? How is at least in the laws? No? The thing of monogamy or polygamy in the world. As you know, no, there are two kinds of polygamy. No, polygyny first, polyandry second. One man, multiple women. One woman, multiple men. These are two things we are talking about here. Well, you can see here, no? How is the map of the world? By the way, especially on marriage, I think that all of us, we have our own opinion. And sure, but it's good to think about your opinion, to support better or to improve your opinion. No? But it's good to think in these kind of things. I understand very well that all of us have one opinion, probably. Culture have many things. Also, in my case, no. But it's good to think about and what should be the best thing. What should be the best thing? For this, I really recommend you to think to who really I believe. To who really I believe, because he wants good for me, and try to hear the things that probably your parents or one friend of you, but not the television. Not the television. Many people just think, no, the thing that I see in the television seems to be so common. No. Hear the principal voices of your life. It's important. In any case, you can see also television to develop your criteria. Well, so it is interesting to compare this map with this second one that we saw the last week. The second one is the map of religions around the world. It is so important to realize that many times the way that we understand marriage is related to the religion. You can see that probably most the countries with polygyny, when it is legal, well, it's more or less related with the country with the Islam. You can see there, no? Monogamy was more or less, today is more extended in the rest of the world. To, well, 3 centuries ago, most of the world was maybe polygyny, yeah, most of the world, but something changed, especially with Christianity. This is true, but also in places that is not, Christianity was not arrived. For example, China, there was also well, now a vision that is better just one man, one woman. This is and what is so interesting to compare these two maps, to understand which will be the best policy, the best politic, both in this area. Because, as I told you, for me at least, one of the principal rights is the religious freedom. So if you want to protect religion, probably you have to protect also marriage. I don't know, but for me, it's quite interesting the legal system of Israel. In Israel, they allow marriage in according to the rules of each religion. If you're Christian, you have to marriage using the set of rules, the law of the Christian or the Catholics, in the case of Catholics or not. But if you're Muslim, you have to use the rules of Muslim. And if you are, I don't know, from an Indian of one specific religion, you have to do. And if you are nothing, you will use the rules of the state. Probably, I really think that this system it's the best one, because the world today is so global. If not, for example, Muslims will be so difficult to will not understand the Western culture, and if they live will suffer a lot. And on the other hand, Christians or monogamous religions in the Islam will feel not so comfortable with these rules. So I think that the best one is to allow each in every state, and is as Israel do, well, some possibility to marriage in accordance according to the law of each religion. This is my opinion. You can think whatever you want. No, it's just my opinion. Let's see another map. No, this is the map of polyandry. One woman, 2 or more men. Well, not so many people. It is not approved in any law of the country. No? In some small groups in the Tibet and in India, in China, I think that I read that 30 groups, small groups, by the way, no? 2 or more brothers have the right to have sex with the same woman. Well, this equal sexual access to them. As we can see, at least seems to be not equality here. No? There is no equality in the world. Polyandry is so diffused, but polyandry not. Well, obviously, you will realize what is marriage for me. I will try to explain as honest as we can, knowing that this is my position. You can have whatever position and it will be okay without any problem. But I think that the two maps you can compare, and at least seems to be that there is no equality. No. So, what is marriage? So, what says the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Well, we have read this, no? There is not so, well, men and women, at least the two sexes appear, no? Of full age, without any limitation, have the right to marriage and to found a family. So, that is an absolute or non-derogable right. What do you think? Absolutely, like the torture. that the freedom of thought, just when we don't express or manifest our thoughts, and non-derogable in the emergency state, we cannot be derogated. An absolute is never ceded. What do you think about the right to marry? Yes, Rosalind.
I think it's not absolute because it's not open to persons of certain age.
Yeah, and is non-derogable? Natalie.
Yes, I think it's non-derogable.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's an easy question. Yeah, it's just because the case law of human rights used to repeat these kind of things. Yeah, it's good to know. Well, in any case, let's talk about another. As I told you, the African chapter, you don't have any specific article like this, no? Once again, the right of men and women, always in those centuries, those decades, they used to put men and women, to say, well, the marriage is between men and women, no? At the end of the 20th century, there was an activist to change the definition, and they did. So, but at the very beginning was so clear, no? Of marriageable age to marry and to found family shall be recognized. Non-marriage shall be entered into without the free and full consent. This is clear. Many of the treaties used to put this free and full consent. I think that it's so important. No? By the way, it's not a, you have also free and full consent if you hear your parents. Obviously, if you have some pressure, is different, no? But if you hear the opinion of your parent, I think that is a good idea always, not to hear the opinion. You don't have to follow exactly the thing that they said. It's because in many cultures, the parents used to arrange weddings, well, probably, and this kind of arrange could have many meanings. If the people just hear the opinion and agree, well, it's a good opinion probably many times, no? But the thing that cannot happen is, well, is because they agree, I have to do this, no? This is not, I mean, this marriage should be always free, no? And if not, in many laws, you can declare null and void in many laws of the countries this kind of marriage without consent. So, changing the notion of marriage, for example, we have more or less in the European Convention signed in 1950 this, no, the right to marry. Men and women of marriageable age have the right to marry and to form a family, according to the national laws. So they interpreted always good, I think that good, no? But men and women can marry, you know. But at one point they decide no. Some countries approve the same-sex marriage. The jurisprudence and the human rights court change, and the constitutional court also change. Approving also same-sex marriage, we have, according to that jurisprudence, the same right to marry. Well, and at what point, even another step more, some countries don't approve that. There was a case law in France, specifically with one law that forbids these kind of things. The constitution requires, we will see this. And the law in France forbids the ban the one specific marriage. Well, and there was an issue because they say no, the European, the supporters of the demand, European Convention on Human Rights put to the LGBT movement the right to marriage. And France is against that right of the European Convention. I don't know if you can read in Article 12 this right. This right. I don't know. You can have any opinion. I don't see really well that there is a right. Seems to be not. Seems to be not. No, that is talking about this. What was the answer of that case in the European Court in Chapin and Charpenter versus France? Is more or less a recent case. The answer was, the question of the same-sex marriage is subject to the national law of the contracting states. So they didn't read men and women. They said, well, this is not ruled by the convention. In Article 12, confirmed the traditional concept of marriage, which is the union between a man and a woman, and doesn't impose an obligation on the governments to contracting states to grant same-sex couple access to marriage. States enjoy a certain margin of appreciation. Well, that was this, but it's incredible. First, never recognized. Then the states approved that, and they were people asking, no, you have to do, because the European Convention on Human Rights, and in this case, the court was clear. More or less was the same idea in the American Convention of Human Rights. But the court there says, remember, in America there is no margin of appreciation. So they say, no, it's a right, and every state have to impose that. And incredible. And even you have cases like in my country, I think that this case is the worst one. There was a constitutional assembly in 2008 that approves specifically the definition: marriage is the union between man and woman. So, because in my country, all people say, well, this is marriage, no? It's a matter of democracy, and the thing that I'm talking about, no? It will be based on free consent and the contracting parties and equality of rights, obligation, and so on. But 2 years ago, the Constitutional Court issued 2 sentences that interpret that Article 67 in a way that it allows the same-sex marriage. I don't know how they do that. No, the Constitution say one thing, and the Constitutional Court say absolutely the contrary. Say no, yeah, okay, this is marriage, but this is also marriage. Well, many times here in many places, there was even a case of a referendum in one state that approves that here will be no same-sex marriage, but the Constitutional Court ruled against the referendum. so no, it is not possible. We have to approve that. As you can see here, this kind of thing seems to be not a matter of democracy for many people, just an imposition of the judge. So democracy, yeah, well, we can approve exactly whatever words you want, whatever. Many courts, many judges, not all of them, will say, well, I don't care what the Constitution says. I don't care what the people says. For me, this, and I will impose my view. And I think that is better democracy here, no? Because it's also related to culture. By the way, this judgment there were also many people of the LGBT movement that say that was not the way to do that. Yeah. So, but we have this. Now the map is that allows the gay marriage. It is here. No? You can see. Absolutely, it's a Western idea. You can see very clear, no? Who are the promoters of the North idea, especially because the first country of the world was Netherlands that approves there, no? The North, and then Belgium, and then Spain, Canada, South Africa. Well, it is, and you can see more or less the map here. No? So once again, well, I understand that. You can see the map, and you can have your own conclusions here, no? Where these ideas came from. When we see the television, seems to be so natural, but it's not so naturally in the most of the countries of the world today. Most of the countries of the world is not so clear that. Well, so the question, the big question, what is marriage? This is the big question. And the question is, it has to be to sexual orientation, bestiality, the people that have these inclinations, well, to have sex with animals. Well, seems to be that marriage is not just related to sexual inclination. We have heard one phrase and also read one phrase that the family is founded on marriage. The Universal Declaration and many declarations or treaties, or it is related with sex. Yeah, this is interesting. This is quite interesting, and especially why the law should protect marriage. What do you think about this? Why the law should protect marriage? It's because they love each other. The law have to protect all sentimental relations. What do you think? Rosalind, yes.
I think the law has to protect marriage because the subsistence of the society is dependent on it.
Yeah. Ruth, yes.
Yes, just similar to what Rosalina said, I think the law needs to protect marriage because that's where the family is founded. And as we said earlier, human species are dependent on the family. So with that, we see the need of the law intervening in marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree absolutely with that. Many times the Human Rights Court don't agree with that. The worst case that I read is one in the UK. In the UK, there was a case. It is the Burden versus UK. If you want to check that case, Burden versus UK, in which two sisters, no, realize that, well, for same-sex marriage there is a lot of benefits, no, tax benefits. Well, and they say, well, we want also to be part of these tax benefits, and we are two women, and we love each other. So please give all these benefits because we are also a kind of marriage, no? And they say, no, this is not really a marriage. Well, but this is, if it is a sentimental, why don't to protect that? I absolutely agree to protect family, family, marriage, and home. There are three concepts, different, and the two quite related, marriage and family. But home also, no? Probably the thing that the law have to protect is the home, the notion of home. And if many people live there, they have to protect that. Even if they are just siblings, no? I think that it's good to protect that, also to give some protection by the tax law and by many other things, no? But the UK said no, no, we don't give you because you are unmarriageable. And why you have to protect a sentimental relation with taxes, with tax law? Well, I don't know. On the other hand, is a family and a marriage is a project that have to be with children, and that's why the law is interested, because it depends the future of the society. Yes. So, but let's talk about sex. I don't know if you have heard the song, a very old song. No? What these things, this incredible machine, is for? I think that this is so easy. What is the genital system for? What is the sex for? These are two important questions, and quite important questions to resolve this. Seems to be, well, what do you think? What do you think? This is incredible. No human being can create a machine with all the characteristics that the anatomy, the biology has now in the human being. We are discovering many things. What is the sex for? This is the most important question in this lecture. Yes, Rosalind, yes.
For production of future members of the society.
Yeah, reproduction. Ruth, yes.
Yes, I wanted to say for reproduction, and for the second question as what is the genital system for? For this ultimate end, which is procreation, there needs to be a biological process that happens, and this is where the genital system comes because of their differences and how they complement each other to allow this to happen. Yeah.
So the aim, it is just procreation? Just that's only procreation, or there could be another? You mentioned a little something, Ruth. Yes.
Maybe I can say between spouses, sex is for intimacy and the enhancement of the conjugal bond and union between marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. We have to understand even the genital system have a lot of functions in the brain and in the psychology of the person. They unite also to the person more deeper than with just words. Sex is more than words, more than words, as the song say. No, extreme. I don't know if you have heard that song. It's more than words. It's more than words. A psychologist used to say, well, that it's incredible how it unites. Even people, probably you will remember all the animals that just have one mate to mate, you know? And this is also a psychological thing in animals and in human being. No? The human being that that arrives to marriage without any previous relationship, sexual relationship, they probably will have, statistically, I'm talking statistically, more success being loyal to that in this marriage for the whole life, because it's also something psychological, even in animals, not just in the human being. No, it's the sense, and I'm giving all of myself to you. I am giving, it's a union not just in the body but in the soul. I'm giving all things. No, it's a sense of totality, and that's why the woman and the man also, no, it feels, well, if this woman or this man is going to another, well, he or she is not loyal with me after that. No, there is a sense of disappointment, a big disappointment, no, because, well, we are giving all things in this sex. This is so important. Probably the most important thing of this lecture, to understand that these two are the aims of the sex. Why? Let's develop a little, no? Because first, there is a sense of totality. The principle of totality in marriage is this, no? Each sexual intercourse expresses the total gift of the person in his/her conjugality. This donation includes the totality of the person and their existence. Yeah, that's why after that there is a disappointment if the other go away with another. Well, and the sexual relationship excludes something from the part that, if the sexual, relations exclude something of the partner, is false. It's false. This is, many philosophers say that, no? Traditional philosophers. There are others that say that, well, you can do sex with any human, animal, and whatever you want. No? You have all things here, no? All kind of philosophy. But the traditional say, well, if you are saying with the words, with your body, that you are giving totally to another, and they say, yeah, but this is just for today. It's false. It's false. It's like the joke, no? I don't know. The guy that says to his wife, well, my dear wife, I will be loyal the whole life until death, and even after death, except Sundays. On Sundays, I will have my things. This is loyal? No, not at all. No, he's excluding, well, Sundays to be with. He is not loyal. Loyal is the person who gives the whole life, even Sundays, to one person. So this means sex. So there is another principle that is related also, no? The principle of interdependence of both aims. So both aims are essential. Without them, the sexual relationship makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Both aims are interdependent. The love implies also to love all the part of the woman or the man that works for reproduction, for example. One is meaningless without the other. They are neither autonomous nor parallel. Both are necessary, no? Are necessary because the human use of sexuality requires that the parties seek both ends at the same time, or at least not exclude the possibility of the offspring. No? If I exclude something of the woman, well, it is a false gift, no? And a false acceptance. Therefore, it's not human. The use of sexuality is used in a impersonal way, excluding the union, or consciously exclude the obvious procreative aim of sex. I understand that this could be a difference for some people, difficult to understand. But if you understand this, you will understand everything. And if you don't understand this, probably you will not understand many things, and probably the most important things here. No? Why we cannot, I don't know, why the religions or morality used to say that some things, I don't know, self-use of genitality for leisure is good or bad. Well, at the end of the day, well, you can say there is no one of the two aims, no? And on the other, you're attacking to the one aim directly with these kind of things. With, for example, you're not giving your whole life, but excluding one part of to your future wife or husband. But you're excluding one part. You're excluding for yourself. You're excluding Sundays. So, how to think about that? If you understand these two things, you will understand everything. If not, it will be so hard to understand things. I think so. No. Does sex have to be with marriage? This is another question. All of you will say yes, me too. The two ends of, but consider that the two ends of the sexual relationship are not understood outside of marriage. It's the same aims of the marriage. It's the same aim of the marriage. The matrimonial pact express the will of the parties. I want to have a specific project. I want to give all of myself to you, and you will give all of myself to me. This is marriage, no? This is the aims of the sex, and for procreation. So for one specific project, because I want to give all myself, especially on sexuality, and sexuality have to be one of the aims. Preparation is related to procreation, so it's absolutely the same. This we can express in various ways according to the culture. We will see. So marriage, what is marriage? It's the true sex at the end of the day. Is the self-donation of the person totally to the other for a specific project that is related to sex and to procreation, children and family and so on. So it's the true sex. So what is the difference between the sex previous of the marriage? Well, there is not gift. There is not gift. There is not gift of the totality. It's a false language. Why is it true sex? It is interesting. In the past, many people were allowed also to with the first sexual intercourse to marriage, just with that, not with the ceremony, not with the wedding feast, without everything. But there was a problem. Before the Council of Trento, there were many people that used to go to the wild with a girlfriend, and they proposed, well, why we cannot marry here in the wild, no, without any person, no? Just have sex, and she at that time I appreciate so much marriage, of course, and she gave everything, and the boy everything also, but not everything, because when they went to the city, in the city she was so happy, I'm married, because we have this, I'm married, no? And the boy say, no, you're not married. No, but you told me that you want to give, no, that is your mind. When they came to the court, well, the word of the woman was not so valued, and they just heard the men. So the women were without honor, losing everything, and that's why in the Council of Trento they say, well, to marry it is good to put a witness, and that will be the priest. And without the priest, there will be no marriage, because this is so bad, the thing that is happening now, and this will be the solution. And from that time until today, in the whole Christian world, you have to marry in front of a priest for Christian. for Catholics. For Christians, more or less, many times in front of a pastor. It depends. In other parts of the world, and even in Christianity, in the first 3 centuries, they used to marry according to the culture. The Christians, according to the culture of the Roman people, each one his own culture. So you can marry in so many ways, but in any case, the essential part of marriage is giving the totality to the other. And if you have sex without giving the totality, it's a false sex. Marriage, so it is the true sex, I will say. And this is, well, this is one. Does marriage have to be with love? I will say yes. But why? What do you think? At least one answer. If not, I will give you an answer of a movie, not my answer. Does marriage have to be with love? Yes, no. Yes, Rosalind.
I'd say yes, because all the sources have to give a lot to each other, and if love is not there, it would be difficult to do that.
Yeah, well, we can say, well, it's so lovely to be married. And what happens if the love ends? The marriage ends.
No, there's still the commitment. So
Yeah, that's the commitment. The answer, the best answer that I found here is in Fiddler on the Reef. So it's interesting. I don't know if you have heard about this movie. I strongly recommend you this movie. It's about 2 Jews, very old, with many children, sister of them, daughters of them. They got married one another. They saw, well, the new guys really loved each other, the boyfriend and the girlfriend. And after several years, this guy, the parent, the father, asked to his wife, no, this question:
Do you love me?
Do I what?
Do you love me?
Do I love you?
Well,
sorry.
With our daughters getting married and there's trouble in the town, you're upset, you're worn out, go inside, go lie down. Maybe it's indigestion.
No, Gold, I'm asking you a question. Do you love me?
You're a fool.
I know. But do you love me?
Do I love you?
Well,
for 25 years I've washed your clothes, cooked your meals, cleaned your house, given you children, milked your cow. After 25 years, why talk about love right now?
Gold, the first time I met you was on our wedding day. I was scared.
I was shy.
I was nervous.
So was I.
But my father and my mother said we'd learn to love each other. And now I'm asking, Gold, do you love me?
I'm your wife.
I know. But do you love me?
Do I love him?
Well?
For 25 years I've lived with him, fought with him, starved with him. 25 years my bed is his. If that's not love, what is?
That you love me.
I suppose I do.
And I suppose I love you too. it doesn't change a thing. But even so, after 25 years, it's nice to know.
Well, it's a very good movie. So, yes, if that is not love, what is love? No, is the answer. No, is giving ourselves really, not just in one night, giving our whole life. No, to try to help the other, to support the other. So we can say the matrimonial pact is a pact to love each other for life, for life. It is institute a duty of love. And the same on the family, no? The act of giving birth to one child, it institute a duty of love. It's a duty of love children, no? You can fulfill, you cannot fulfill, but you have the duty. Right? That's why many marriage pact begins with this, no? You can see this is a formula, just one of the multiple possible, no? I, Dick Tracy, take you, Crystal Coke, to be my wife, and I promise to love and sustain you in the bonds of marriage from the day forward, in the sickness and in the health, in the plenty and in the want, in joy and in sorrow, till death shall part us according to God's holy ordinance. In any case, well, this is a duty, and you express exactly in the wedding feast, no? With so many words, no? So it means that you have also to love, the duty to love, when the character of the other guy is not so good. No, in the sickness also, because the character have so many sickness, illness that could be appear during time. No? So, what is against that? Well, the things that are not according to those aims. No, for example, divorce. No, you are not giving yourself. You are just giving yourself Sundays, well, or the whole week, but not Sundays. No. To the other, it's not a total gift. That is not the thing that you told me. Can say the wife or the husband. No? Sexual torture, trafficking, bestiality. Why? Because no one of the aims of sexuality, of sex, is aiming. Sexual relation without purpose of full donation, that is prostitution, trial sex. No, that ones that excludes offspring, no, incest, pedophilia, adultery, just for leisure. That's why. Also, well, the artificial creation of life. Now you are using sex, but not for a personal relation. The sons will not born from your love, but from the technique, from the doctor. No, well, the anti-conception also. So, after seeing all these kind of things, we can ask, should the law criminalize all this action? And I will answer, this is a very important question. No? Once again, this is my opinion. You can have any opinion on this. No? But on my opinion, the thing that it gives so much light to me was this thing, this even appeared in this land. Don't you know which is this land? Holy Land, Jerusalem. And for sure you will remember, if you have seen this movie, this film, these guys, the Pharisees, asked to Jesus the same question. there was not so clear that was enforced that law at that time, but they asked a legal question. That is a legal question. Should we give to the adulterers death penalty? Once again, you can believe whatever you want in here. This is my opinion. And the answer of Jesus at the first time is just to write things in the earth. What kind of things? Many people used to say that probably the sins of those Pharisees. Nobody knows at the end of the day. They ask again, well, should we give that penalty to that adulterous woman? And she stand up and say, what? The fish, you can throw your stone, but the fish should be the ones that have no sin. No, the scriptures used to say that the old people began to throw the stones to say, well, I'm not the one that will rock her. So at the end, you know very well what happened. That lady, that poor lady, was close to Jesus, and Jesus asked, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? She said, no, Lord. And after that, Jesus said, no, neither do I. Go and sin no more. I think that is a good idea that we can have here. You can see one is the legal question and other morality. Jesus never said that adultery is not a sin. He said, sin no more. So with all the words, no, this is a sin. This is against the law of God. This is against morality. But many times the legal standards should be not so punished, not punished at that level. And I think that with this same idea, we can resolve many other things. There are strong phrases about homosexuality in the New Testament, especially in Romans. You can read. I try not to put all the phrase because it's too strong for me. For this reason, idolatry, God gave them up to passion of dishonor. For even their females exchange the natural use of that which is contrary to nature, and the same the males, and well, there are strong words against this kind of practice. But one thing I think that is my opinion is that it is a sin. Is the act. He's talking about the act. And other quite different is well, what should be the law? Many times, according to the level of morality of each society, probably it's good to or even if there is a matter of just a private act, well, the law cannot punish all private acts. We have seen in the jurisprudence, no? What things can the law regulate? But not the merely private acts. It should have some external consequence in society. Without that condition, the law have no competence to regulate anything. Probably here it will happen the same. So there are things that could be seen or morally wrong, but probably the law should not criminalize. One thing is criminalize, and also is to promote or to declare that it's a right. No? Jesus said here, adultery is not a right, but it's not criminalized. I think that it is important. One thing. Second idea that is so clear here. One thing is the sin, the action, the behavior, and another the person. So, for example, the Pope said many times, no, a person, an individual with inclination, any inclination, or also will be inclination for, let's put another thing that is not related with bestiality, no, to have sex with animals, can be a saint, can be a saint. Why? Because the inclination is not good or bad, it's just an inclination. The action could be, obviously, if and it's the same standard. I don't know if you realize, no? All the people that are not married will have to contain themselves, no? to take care and to reserve themselves, or for God or for another person, no? So if they do sex not in the marriage, but not giving themselves totally, but in another ways, well, it's the same, probably many times. Well, the act is bad, the person is good, always, no? The inclination, well, is morally is neutral, is neutral, not morally. Okay, I think, I know that this is controversial, but well, at least I give you my opinion. I hope that it could help you, at least someone. So, after saying that, we can be deeper in what is marriage. And to be deeper, you have to read some readings, and you will find there 3 different notions. That is good to distinguish. First one, marriage pact. Second one, marriage community. Third one, marriage life. Okay, okay. It's quite different each one. And we will see it just in a few minutes. First, what is the marriage pact? It's an agreement. It's an agreement that needs, and this is important. This is important. That what it needs, the thing that every agreement needs. It means people. There is no agreement with subjects, no? Without subjects. Two subjects. Second, the consent. There is not agreement without the will of the people. Okay. And third, the form. In which way they sign that pact. Well, so the subjects, what the subjects need to get married. Well, is the physical capacity and also the intellectual capacity. This is quite important. Why children cannot be married, get married? It's easily, they are not able to, they cannot give themselves bodily to any person because it's not developed the body. What happened here? I don't know. Let me see. Well, in any case, they cannot give themselves. Someone is doing something. So, yeah. So, if you cannot give yourself bodily, well, that would be an impossibility to get married. Yeah, that's why children cannot get married. So, but also because they don't have the intellectual capacity. Many times they don't know what is marriage. The intellectual capacity you can divide in 2. The intellectual capacity of know what is marriage and the practical reason that, well, what is married for, what implies, what consequence I have to bear a family, children, and so on. The volitional capacity This is quite important, no? This is quite important because, well, that's why it's not enough to have 8 years, because you don't have that strong will for so many contracts, marriage even. In many cultures, just after 14, 16 years, you can marry. You can marry because you have all these kind of things, no? It's so easy, no? And not be impeded by the law. Many times the law says, well, you cannot marry with someone. There is a prohibition. Why? And there is a lot of cases. The typical case is the raptor, the one who sequestrates one woman for certain things. Well, he has that woman in his house as a prison, in his home as a prison. Well, obviously, during the time that she is a prisoner of that guy, the raptor cannot marry them. This is almost in all legal system around the world. No? You have to deliver give freedom to that woman, and probably after some years you will be able to marry. That guy will be able to marry that woman. That is a prohibition, no? By the law. That is an example. There should be many of them, because also there is another one. If you are a sibling, sister, brother of that guy, well, obviously you cannot marry. There is not the consent. This is quite important, no? On two ends of the sex, we have to put the consent. I want you, totally you, the whole of you, of your existence, of your body, of your life, for a specific project. And this should be mutual. That is so important. No? It's give and receive each other for the project related with children. Yeah, that is quite interesting. That's why well, there are parts between, for example, one thing is sterility and another impotence. The people that cannot have the sexual act is different that they can do, but without offspring. No? But if the people cannot act, that have that act, well, that pact could be nullified. No? Because this is not they are not giving the thing. It's the same thing that happened with children. No, they cannot give themselves. In consent, there are many things. One thing good to know, for example, there are people that are married to another because she got pregnant. She will have a baby, and in many places around the world, there is a lot of pressure of the family to marry both, no, the future father and the mother. No? Well, if there is a pressure, many times that agreement could be nullified, could be null. Why? Because it lacks consent. As you know, in every agreement you need free will, and if you have will but not free, because could be force, pressure, and many things, fraud, and well, that will be null. There is also a fraud in marriage. No? Many times, for example, when she or he don't mention that they have something that could could be will create some troubles during the life of the marriage, and they don't say anything. For example, I have a psychological disease, illness. I'm sick about some specific thing that will harm the marriage life. Well, if that person never said that, that agreement will be null. That is important to know. You cannot create any fraud during the devices of the matrimonial concept that I talked about. And the cultural form, in which way? It depends. Each culture has its own form. There are so many strange forms around the world. No, many times there is a wedding feast, but the proper moment of marrying is when she and he say yes or give themselves. Is the yes, the yes. That is the confirmation of the self-giving. Well, after talking about the pact, there is another, the community. The community, that is interesting, because this is the bond, the nexus that unites the married woman and man, constituting them as spouses, where all conjugal rights and duties are contained. It has some properties and some duties and rights. Properties, unity and exclusivity. If you have to give the same love that you receive, one, and the whole love just will be one with one, and only one with only one. That is unity and exclusivity. Once again, this is my opinion. You can think whatever you want in all these things. No? It should be mutual, no? You and I, no? And the same love, and the whole love, and the whole life, and with the same love. That way, the same love requires unity and exclusivity. One with one, only one with only one. Stability and indissolubility, no? But if I give myself the totality of myself, I cannot give twice. Yeah, just one. That's for life, no? As we said in the wedding feast. And publicity. All people should know that you are married, no? And you cannot marry another normally, no? There is, as you know, cultures and places here. Many people have different stories, no? The duties and rights, no? To love. This is probably the synthesis. What do you have to do? What is your principal duty and your principal right? To love. It's the institutionalization of love. That's why, well, the first thing that people used to have, the conjugal debit, no? That is so proper of the marriage. No? Yeah, you are in a project of life for one specific purpose that have to be with the body and the children, and mutual support. Also, that is why we are giving. They are giving themselves in marriage for whole life, for etc., and to participate in community. Okay, that is the community. You can read more. You will read more for sure. What about married life? Married life is so easy to live with the conjugal community. It is. But here we have some principles now. How should be the married life? And we can put, well, principles. Let's think about once again the aims of the sex, the aims of the sexual relations, the aims of marriage, the same aims. No, first, offspring. Well, there is a tendency. Obviously, it is not compulsory. to have children. It is a tendency. You have to put the means. Let's see what happens. No, but not. It's an obligation. Yeah, that's why the principle of tendency to the good of the offspring and to the good. No, first the procreation, and then the good of taking care of them, feeding, nurturing, teaching, and so on. The mutual support between the spouses. No? The principle of fidelity, principle of no. That's why if both gave themselves, their self, in the totality, well, it means the totality. And this is why it is also, as I told you, it is also a matter of psychology, no? Well, and not only in the human species, but also in many other species, no? There is a psychological thing that well, I have to be, and if you go with another one, well, there will be problems, no? And if I realize that my wife commits adultery, well, there will be many issues. There is also a cause in all legal systems of separation, adultery. But also in the Catholic Church, for example. But separation is not divorce. Divorce. What is divorce? To finish the marriage and be able to marry with another. No, because you have a duty for life of love. Yeah, you have a duty for life. Well, and the other also. But separation is just live in two houses, each one in his own, but not the right to marry again. That is different. No? Well, another principle: legal equality between men and women. You read that in all the treaties. Also, more or less, it appears in the African chapter. The managed principle. Who should command? That is a tricky question. Who should do something in each and have the last word, the last decision in every specific matter of the marriage? Well, it's not so easy. Not so easy. Probably in many marriages it used to be distribution of competences. No, you will do that. You will do whatever you want in this specific topic, and I will do this. There is a good distribution. Every marriage has his own distribution. And the capitality principle. But who will have the final decision? Many times is the man. In many cultures is also the woman. In Italy, it's incredible. The woman used to decide most of the things of marriage, no? But in any case, seems to be that it's good that the ones who have more skills to resolve things, no, that have more cool head. That is well, because when one is hating so much, you cannot think very well if you are well with a lot of hating and but in each marriage could be different. This no. Okay, and finally the principle of common life. No? They have to live together. No? So with this, I talked about marriage, family, and I will talk just little things about children. And here, my first question: what is a minor? A minor. It's about size. It's about size. My first question. So I don't know if you just to show you. This is the highest guy of the world today, Sultan Qasim. 2.5 meters. Imagine that, 66. The shortest one is 62 centimeters. Incredible, no? This is in Egypt, the photo. Well, obviously, it's not a matter of size, no? There are some human rights proclamation, treaties, constitution that also say, well, that even these children, the unborn, these children with the name children. So it's not a matter of size, obviously. So, but we cannot, it's a matter of maturity, it's a matter of age. This is, by the way, just to show you. Ken Tanaka, the oldest person, individual in the world now, living now, 117 years old. Obviously, it's not a matter of ages or yes. It's a matter of perhaps capacity. They are able or not, are not able to do something. What do you think about that? What is a minor? Minor children? Probably is a mix of all of these things. A mix. Probably you should know that at 21 you should be adult. Well, there are some laws around the world that says, well, if you have some disabilities, you will still be treated like a child. On the other hand, there are people with 16 that get the emancipation. They are adult technically before the usual age. So it's a mix of things. Related to what? Once again, with the concept of family. That's what notion of children, family, minor are so related, and marriage, so related. Remember the idea, no? The family is the second womb. The second womb that help children to develop their capacity, their maturity, all the skills to be able to live in the society. Which society? It depends on each culture. Many times it could be later, other times it could be early. That is interesting, no? But it's interesting. Because it's quite related, no? To develop and to put a guy in a proper way to live in a specific society. Now, and this will be so interesting. Well, what is the law for? With the same thing. The main purpose of the minors law is to ensure the maximum survival. First, the survival, because that's why in all species, the human species también also. It is to ensure the maximum survival and then to develop the minor until she reaches maturity to survive and to be able to live very well in each society. No? Every child must be ensured that proper prenatal, postnatal health care, nutrition, clothing, shelter, education. This is consequence of the same idea. And this is in every human rights treaty. You should read, by the way. No? And this is quite interesting. No? This survey did by Mark Reñarus. I knew this guy. And that guy is a very clever professor of Texas University. Probably for me, the principal sociologist of the world today. And why I put here this? Because he did a great survey, the most incredible, with a lot of numbers of people with most of the people now the best sort did, but and he tried to realize in each family how are the children. I will put now internet, so you will be able to see how it is. So let me see here. Okay, and you see now this. I hope so. No, so you can see here two things. No, what happened with the children? For example, in an intact family, it means one father, one mother. And then in a step family, the single parent, adopted, divorced, two women, two men. Okay? So, for example, let's begin with marijuana. How many children used to smoke these kind of things, drugs, in these families? He realized, well, in this case, the intact family is the best one for the children. And the worst is the divorced. No? After that, the lesbian family. Then smoking. Well, the best one is the intact family, and the worst, the lesbian and gay relationship. No? Children that are in jail, arrested. That is so clear statistically, no? Among thousands of cases. Well, you can see once again the intact family is the best one for the children, and which is the worst one? The lesbian and the gay relationship. Yeah, you can see there, no? Well, pled guilty once again. The family that needs public assistance. Well, seems to be that the mother, two mothers, needs more assistance, and the less, once again, for the common good is good to know. No? How will I distribute my resources that are not infinite? Well, the less is the intact family. No? You can see here. And then the second one is the divorced. You can see here above. No? Children without employment after several years. No? This, but once again, the intact family is the winner, the winner. And the lesbian, once again, is the worst. Family safety. Well, in safety, the best one is the intact family, and the others, you can see, no? This is quite interesting. It is hard data. How many of the children commit suicide? Suicide should be strong cases, no? Well, the worst is the gay family. The gay family, they have a lot of suicides, technically, no? Why? Well, you can consider when take your conclusions. That is incredible, 5 times more than the intact family. Therapy that needs therapy of psychologists. Well, it's incredible. Also, the adopted have some problem, but once again, you can see here depression. Well, once the best one is the intact family, and the worst one, the other two that are close. No, touched sexuality. This is incredible because each family has his own ambience, and in some ambience could be more insecurity for one thing, drugs, and what about touched sexuality? Well, the lesbian family is so critical, no? Indeed, 12 times more than the intact family. 12 times more. That is a number. Forced sex. Once again, in lesbian and gay families, not so good. Education, partners affair, relation of trouble. But Well, and this is also with straight heterosexual. Well, in this one once again. Well, you can have your own conclusions. You should have your own opinion in these matters. I'm just giving the data. But for today, I think that is enough. Well, you should, well, this is macrogenus, and this is the map of today. It's not the same map of same-sex marriage. You have the comparison, no? This is that countries that allow gay marriage, and here in the second, the ones who allow the adoption by gay or lesbian couples. And you can see that more or less is the same countries, but not exactly the same. Many countries just have the same-sex marriage and not the adoption. Many times they realize that is not so good. But in any case, as you know, this is in the agenda of LGBT movement, no? First to legalize and then to after approving the same-sex marriage, well, the adoption. And as you see, this is also a Western idea. Absolutely, this is not so deep. The second one about adoption, but we have to know what is the agenda. So finally, we have seen more or less all these kind of things